Hello, everyone. It is Monday. It is news roundup time, and to be honest, we've got a little bit of a thin news week, so we're going to be doing a few things that I don't normally do in my news roundups. So prepare. It's going to be a little bit different here. And the first thing we're going to be talking about is we're going to talk about some of the third-party slides that were shown at TFCon Chicago, and you know, for the most part, like, I really didn't see anything in this one that really caught my eye. At least like, nothing as far as new stuff, there's a few things that obviously did. But, for instance, we had Nanobots over here, which is an Etsy-based shop that is producing 3D printed Transformers at super tiny size. So you can see Mirage here is a mere 29 millimeters, which is very, very tiny. The comparison shots I saw, which I don't think they showed on here, yeah, you can see. There is a Bumblebee / Cliff Jumper that could actually fit on the tip of your finger. That is pretty small. I question the durability at the size, considering it's using ball joints, and I question the price, because I went to their Etsy shop and they want $15 each. Which, okay, fine, you put the work and engineering in, you should get paid. This is using a minute amount of 3D print material. I would question if that is the best choice. But that's just me. It's their product. If they feel it's worth 15, well, let's just see it at 15. It's also limited run, which I think is short-sighted, because there's a lot of people who aren't going to go on for these like right away. I can imagine them being great for your Titan class figures, to have like hordes of little guys across, Metroplex or Triptychon, and it looks like a big city battle. That would be cool. But at the price, not for me. Let's see. The Unicron Cell was there again. He's got a big hammer now. Okay, fine. Third Party is now trying their hand at crossover Transformers, where we are now tempting two trademarks at the same time. That's just daring Hasbro legal at that point. We got a new Grimlock, which I've dubbed Bumblebee movie Grimlock, because it is going for the original. It's going kind of for like the kind of style aesthetic that the original, like at least the body shape that the original movie Grimlock did, but it's got this like samurai motif to it, and it looks far closer to G1. So, kind of cool. Speaking of samurai motif, they did show off the super impressive drift, which they're still being very protective of this thing. Like, okay, yeah, it looks super nice in the robot mode. The vehicle mode's got some heavy panels in the back, but it's okay. Still pretty solid. They are being very selective which shots of the helicopter they show off, because these are favorable angles that don't really show the shape of the helicopter properly, but also don't show how many gaps there are in this thing. So, okay, I can understand them being careful about it. Yeah, it's fine. It's whatever. It's still super impressive they managed to pull it off. Let's see, there's a Pterosaur, which I think looks really fat in beast mode, but hey, props on getting the robot mode to look show accurate, so give them there. We got more Bumblebee and Optimus, kind of Bumblebee movie aesthetic going on. I know everyone probably thinks, well, if you say nothing caught your eye, what about the Cybertron Optimus by Transform and Rollout? I have seen this so many times. I'm still not entirely sure I do want to drop the money on it, because it is going to be an expensive third-party figure. It is really nice looking. Of course it is. It's my favorite Transformer ever. Just done up in like super anime style, fixed proportions, better articulation. I might go for this, I might not. I have not made the call yet. Oh look, more Constructicons. I could care less. Third Party has completely burned me out on Constructicons, official or otherwise. Please, for love of God, you've got it. You checked the box. Move on. See, we got a Huffer, we got a Jazz. Okay, it's all Magic Square. There's a Jetfire coming in at that scale. New Samurai drop from Iron Factory, which is Ironhide as a samurai. Okay, cool. Another Huffer. Yeah, no one read each other's notes. Let's see, this one this actually did something cool. Fans Toys showed off the new Superion they were doing, and there's extra bits to create the robot mode, so the individual toys can be a little bit smoother, but it all forms a flight stand for the whole team, which I think is actually a really clever use of all that extra junk. So good on them coming up with something clever. There's a Magnus on the way. There's an inner robot to it. New Age showed off basically a bunch of repaints. Fans Hobby showed off their God Magnus, which I think is super clever to actually make a powered convoy out of Power Master Prime and God Bomber. Cool. Okay, you got a good idea there. I actually like the look of this. Again, not enough to get it, but you know. Okay, more protective bots, more combiners. There's a double dealer. There's the exclusive they did this year. For Steeljaw, and that's your lot. Like, there's nothing really that I want to sit here and focus on, really. So we're throwing it all in because it's a lot that people are going to be looking out for. So it's basically just me letting you know, heads up, it's on the way. For actual news in genuine third-party Transformers, not unlicensed ones, Robosen showed off their new Elite version of their auto-converting Optimus Prime. This one is a little bit smaller and quite a bit cheaper. It is $700 compared to $1,000, but apparently is still capable of all the same stuff. Light, sound, all the same motion and activation. It seems like it's just like a refined version of the first one that is affordable if you're only somewhat rich, instead of filthy rich like the first one. So you now have an option. If this thing was super cool, you can get it a little bit cheaper now and a little bit more size convenient. I actually think because it's all motorized that the smaller scale is actually way more impressive engineering-wise than the large scale. That's just me, though. And beyond a few touch-ups to the sculpting and proportion, I don't really see any difference. It just really just looks like a shrunken down version. So no real loss there. All right, new in-hand stuff. We got to look at Leo Convoy, Leo Prime for legal reasons. We finally got to see the what I want to say behind the scenes on Instagram, but it isn't behind the scenes because it really doesn't tell you what goes on in order to make this toy. It just tells you oh hey, the Matrix door flips open, and you can use these little guns that peg into his main on his back as a jetpack. And that's basically all we get out of behind the scenes. It's basically just features they hid in the toy. Beyond that, I think the only real news about this, the only real big update is the fact that the chest compartment does open, the Matrix is sculpted in, and it does have that 3mm port so you can actually attach effect parts to it. Okay. So that's about the only thing I really needed to just go you know what, this is just this is just like a Hasbro interpretation of the original Leo Convoy toy. That's pretty much what we got going on here. So we will eagerly anticipate getting this in hand. No behind the scenes photo shoot is going to hide that lion face. God, I don't know how they got that wrong. But still, it still looks like a really cool take on Leo Convoy. So I'm still eager to get this thing. We also got in-hand shots for Rumble. Super tiny Studio Series Rumble with his pile drivers, which do not, which unfortunately, they do not pile drive, which is, unfortunate. But, you know what, at that size, I wasn't really expecting it, so we'll just go ahead and leave it as is. I'm still missing comparison shots to the last time they did Rumble, which is really unfortunate. I really do wish I could get to see how this looks and how big it is compared to the original, considering it's the same size cassette when it transforms. I don't know. I want it. I definitely want it, but I definitely want to see a little bit more. And just out of my own curiosity. More in-hand shots. Bonecrusher is still gray. Moving on. I literally have nothing to say. It's Gray Bonecrusher. What do you want out of me? So, because they didn't have a whole lot of news this week, we're going to touch on a couple of sightings so you can actually find what is out there to hunt down right now. For starters, if you're in Canada, visit your local GameStop. You might just find all of the wreckers from the original Amazon release, or you could actually stumble into the in a super tiny picture for proof. You can stumble into the G.I. Joe Megatron, which is now in stock at a bunch of online places. So it has finally happened. You can officially buy a G.I. Joe Transformer crossover. All right. And now, if you are in the UK, you can get Galaxy Shuttle already. It feels like between like discovering this toy exists and this point is like no time at all. And we've already got, and some people already have this thing that they bought from a normal store. That's kind of scary, but kind of cool too, because it keeps the surprise and the hype going a little bit stronger. So be on the lookout. If you're in the US, you can visit Target, which has gotten not only Tonkanator has started to show up, but also the Street Fighter X Transformers. These are the Titan Return figures, or in RC's case, Thrilling 30 figure. Redone into Street Fighter characters. Originally a Takara release, it got licensed to come over here. So super cool that it's available to the American market now. They're really weird repaints. There's no resculpting to make them look like the Street Fighter characters. It's just like Ryu has been like spray painted on top of Optimus Prime, and you just kind of roll with it. It's kind of reminiscent of how Hasbro did the original Street Fighter toys, where they just took old G.I. Joe parts, cobbled them together, and go, wait, that's close enough. It's close enough to M. Bison. Yeah, go, take it, have fun. I think what's interesting about this is the fact that it means that Thrilling 30 RC mold still fully exists, despite the fact that it was replaced by the Kingdom figure, but also because, I can't even remember where that RC came from anymore. I try not to think about it. But also it means that despite the retooling for the 86 mold, the original still exists, swords and all, which is kind of interesting. All right, moving on. You can also find, if you're in the US, Ironhide has actually dropped. This one is a pretty big deal. It is a small Voyager, we acknowledge that, but from what I've heard from in-hand reports, it's worth the price point just due to the complexity and the engineering of it. It apparently feels like a really good Ironhide toy. So I am eager to pick it up, and then I will wait for repro labels to give me that yellow stripe that Hasbro for some reason cheaped out on, even though this is a smaller Voyager and they should have had the budget. That's my commentary. All right. So, Hasbro in China has released a few stop-motion videos. They do stop-motion things for their, I keep forgetting the site's name. Someone in the comments will correct me. I keep forgetting the name of their version of YouTube. But they showed off a few stop-motions, which are always really, really high quality. And one of them is recreating the scene outside Sam's house from the original movie. And the other one is recreating the first appearance of the Autobots gathering on Earth. So it's a throwback to the 2007 movie featuring the new 5-pack of Studio Series reissues. It's kind of a promotional thing for that. So they're both comedic. They're both very slapsticky. But they are very, very well done. So if you want to see really cool stop motion, you can go check those out. All right. Official G1 Optimus Prime limited edition posters by Danny Schultz. Looking really freaking awesome. I love the look and aesthetic on these. Isn't it nice to have an artist produce these high quality posters for Transformers without plagiarizing other artists? It's so cool. But yeah, it's a really, really, really nice look at Optimus Prime. A little bit of character to him. I like how everyone's Prime interpretation is a little bit different depending on like the details they go. You know, here like the entire bicep is silver instead of just a stripe. His wheels are on his hips, where a lot of times they'd hide that. There's a little bit, mostly leaning toward cartoon aesthetic, but there's some their own flavor in there too. Cracked windshield too. Optimus just took a bullet and he's still standing. Yeah, it's just a really cool poster. So if anyone likes like high-end poster decoration, you are in luck. And last but not least, in the wake of one Transformers mobile game getting canceled, another shall rise. But this one is located in Japan, so I don't know if it'll ever make it to America. Rage Battle! Sounds like a Dragon Ball Z game. It's actually a browser RPG being done in Japan. We have no real information behind that other than there will be in-game purchases. Oh, I'm shocked. A mobile game with in-game purchases. I never would have thought. And there's going to be at least 70 different Transformer characters featured. You can see some of them here. What's interesting to me is that the Decepticons seem pretty stock, a little bit stylized, but pretty much exactly how you would expect. The Autobots are heavily stylized. You know, see if we can see like the... I say that, and then we go over to Silverbolt, who's just a bog standard Silverbolt. That's a bad example. But if we look at Bumblebee and Optimus here, they look like super anime style. Bumblebee in particular looks like his G1 self with a little bit of the movie aesthetic built in, with like a fake car hood chest rather than his traditional looks. It's not a bad look, but it's very interesting. It's a really different aesthetic. Optimus himself, like, look how super sleek the head looks. Like, all his head is just like flowing backwards somehow. You see Sideswipe again, that same stylized effect. I don't think I've got a good look at Jazz. Hot Rod and Ultra Magnus, same kind of effect. So we really don't have anything to go by this other than it's a browser game you're going to be able to buy stuff in. So keep a lookout. Don't know if it'll be available to anyone outside of Japan, but just in case, yeah, we got another one on the way. So that is the news of the week. Like I said, look, it's a news recap that didn't go 20 minutes. So a little bit of a thin news week, but enough to talk about that I wanted to actually, I wanted to get my thoughts and opinions out there. So, thank you guys for watching. I hope you're informed. Some people tell me this is how they get their Transformer news now, which is like, this is a terrible source of news because I'm a week late on a lot of this stuff. But if you just need like a quick recap just to make sure you caught everything, okay, this is kind of what it's for. So I hope you gained something out of it. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for supporting. It means the world to me. And I will see you next time. Guys, I am facing the most powerful enemy any YouTuber can face, the algorithm, and I need your help to defeat him. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, and leave a comment. Every time you do, we attack that algorithm and we drive it back until it can no longer defeat this channel. Thank you very much.